Welcome back to the Underway podcast. Remember, underway is the only way, and today is the day to get underway. We got our hosts here, Jack, Sam, myself, Russ. We're going to be chatting about how to attain higher skill movements in CrossFit and how to get to becoming an RX athlete. Boys, how are we? Monday morning. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. It's sunny. It's sunny. It's 24 degrees.
Sun's out. That's
It's up and
always a
down the weather
plus.
lately, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's beautiful. It's literally not a cloud in the sky right now.
Probably the most Melbourne time of year at the moment.
But we're stuck in this little room, which could get hot in here.
Nah, we're not stuck.
I believe this might.
Door's not locked.
This might be the last one ever in this.
Oh,
room.
actually, that's true. This could be the last podcast in this room, guys.
We can't get too excited though. we can't jump the gun.
Where are we going after this? Well, if
Back
we're-
to Sam's house.
we're going back to
the
mine.
couch, man. I like that couch.
The couch is
I'm
nice.
missing it.
It is a good comfy couch, Get in the right position, lay back. It's a more relaxed vibe for the body.
Blankets on. We could get the fire on even.
Mum would definitely comment on the blanket if you were in the blanket.
People actually like it. I don't know. Yeah, people bring it up to me in class.
People
like,
like my
where-
blanket.
They're like, where's your blanket? I'm like, it's at home.
Yeah, whenever I go over to Sammy's, he's just walking around with his blanket,
But yeah, Jack, how are you feeling, mate?
I'm feeling good.
Is that it?
I'm feeling good. I coached this morning. Coached a couple sessions with Muzz. We ripped some good sessions. Coached a session with Keels. Did a 60-second bike ride. Did I say 60 seconds?
Yeah. I was like,
60
what?
seconds.
You did a bike sprint
nice,
before
that's
class.
nice.
No, I didn't. I went for 60 minutes.
Ah.
On the concept bike, which was a good sweat. Because it was real misty this morning. It got pretty steamy. Yeah. So good doing the Zone 2 stuff. It's good to know a bit more behind the Zone 2 stuff after doing the strength culture seminar last week. They were talking about Zone 2 stuff, so I'm just remembering that the eccentric motion of my heart is getting trained whilst I do my Zone 2 work.
What is the Zone 2? Tell us what about Zone 2. How do you know you're in Zone 2?
Well, Zone 2, it's just based off a percentage on your heart rate. So, higher heart rate, you're going to look at being in higher zones. So, like Zone 5 is like, close to max heart rate, or I think like within 10%. And then there's like categories for like a heart rate or a heart rate range for each category.
So
So,
you know this.
I don't know the stats, man. I honestly don't.
yeah. So, you can look up online like what your range is. There's like heart rate, there's like zone calculators like based off your heart rate. But yeah, they're always roundabouts, and yeah, it's basically a conversational pace, the Zone 2 pace.
I was gonna say, do you wear a monitor or something? Or
Yeah,
you just wing it? Oh, you go off the watch. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wear my Apple Watch. I was wearing the heart rate monitor there for a bit, but yeah, I decided that the watch did the job.
Do you click zone? Does that have like a zone 2 setting?
It actually will. I think there was an update on the Apple Watches where now it actually shows you which zone you're in,
Oh,
which is
dude.
cool.
That would be sick. It beeps at you when you're going too quick or too slow or something.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I know at one stage there was a lot of chatter about being in, 60% max heart rate. That's the optimum fat burning zone.
Ooh.
But, well,
Yeah, that was
that was big.
People still talk about that. Russ, you look a kilometer away from your mic, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
Dude, I was listening to this just before we go into this. I was listening to just Instagram. I was just on Instagram, and Hamosi was on a podcast.
Hormozy.
Um,
Now we're into the algorithm.
and whoever he was interviewing said this crazy fact about podcasts, where he said 25% of podcasts fail after 3 episodes.
Damn.
So
We persisted.
yeah, so we're past 3, and
What?
then they said
What?
10% of podcasts last 20 episodes. So we're in the top 10%.
We haven't got 20 episodes.
That's what I'm saying. If we get to 20, we're in the top 10%.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
Gotcha.
And what's considered a fail? Because we
They
could
give up.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because you could still be released in a podcast, no one's listening, and you're still
Yeah,
winning.
But that's not the point, man. That's not. They're talking about the point of consistency being how their podcasts do well.
Yeah.
But yeah, 20%. Yeah, to be in the top 10%, we've got to make it past episode 20. What episode?
That was
is
like
this? Is this episode 10?
Yeah.
Fuck.
This is at 10.
that was like I think something like 80% of PTs don't make it past the first 3 months or something.
I think it was 6 months.
I think it's 3. 'Cause
Oh, is it
that
three?
was
Is
like
that when you
the-
pay full rent?
Yeah.
You get 1 month free, and then you get half a month, and you get full rent. They're like, nah, not for me. I'm out.
Yeah.
It's a backwards model of the fitness industry. It is. I reckon it's the gyms are milking it.
Why?
Just because, well, you have to pay to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not like, you can't come in as an employee and you're just learning the trade. Really, you've done your schooling. You don't know shit, and you just come in and you're still learning your trade, how to talk to people, and you're in the situation where you've got to pay people money to.
Is it still like that though?
Yeah, it is. Well, the majority of places you work.
Like, I don't know anyone that works at a 24/7 gym anymore. There's obviously people that do, but I don't. Do you?
Mm. Oh, like people definitely would and do.
Yeah, but anyone that like we've been around, I don't really know anyone.
No, I think we're sort of detached from that world now.
Yeah.
Now that we're just in our own little box.
Yeah,
Well, you used to. Who do you know?
that still
Who's
does.
still a good life?
No, I don't know anyone. No one I know.
I know there's PTs at Peninsula Barbell out in Somerville. PTs that work there, they run their own businesses out of there.
Yeah.
It's sort of like if you're a tradie and you know you were rocking up to use someone's like tools and you had to pay to use them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's essentially what
But
it
you
is.
don't. You have to go and buy your own. You have to
And
go and
in
buy your own
fairness,
tools.
though, like the 24/7 gyms don't get the cheapest equipment in the world. It costs a fortune to open one of them with what they buy.
I feel like they buy like $10,000 ellipticals. Like,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy how much one of those machines costs that only move in one plane of motion and do that one thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, you can do 100 things to this barbell over here that's a quarter of the cost.
Yeah.
It's good to learn, though. Did you say it was good to learn? Because
What?
you were just doing a million sessions. 'Cause you're doing all these free sessions for everyone when you're working at a gym. Whereas
Oh,
if,
no,
if
no,
you're
no, no,
straight
no,
out
no.
of PT school and you go work with us or whatever, like you got to build your own leads, or unless you're
No, it's a good learning curve. You get thrown in the deep end, but I'm just saying like, I'm sure that they could have a bet. Like, there wouldn't be such a big turnover if it was more,
Dude, I got a question.
What is it?
Would you rather say you had a kid, your kid just done PT school,
yeah.
and the options were to go work at Body Fit or to go work at Good Life? What would you tell them to do?
Well, are they getting a wage at Body Fit?
Potentially.
Yeah, I would tell them to go get a wage and then build some confidence. And then once they're confident, then they go out on their own. run
I'd
their
go
own
the other
business.
way, I reckon. Get out there, man.
Well, you throw
Start
them in the deep end,
marketing.
mate.
Throw 'em into the cold.
Yeah, but your first 3 months you might actually be really good and achieve good things in the end, but you just have a bad first 3 months, and then at the end of 3 months you've got 2 clients, and you're like, well, I can't afford this
Yeah.
$400 that they're about to charge me with my 2 clients. Like, obviously it's not working. I've got to quit.
Yeah.
Whereas if you actually had a bit of an income,
Yeah.
and the gym was paying you the other way around because you're actually working for them. Like, you don't just do nothing as a PT. You're still expected to work gym 4 hours or whatever,
Yeah.
and do free consultations with people. So like, you're doing them a service, and they're making you pay them money.
Yeah.
Like, they've obviously
Right.
the people who are running these big corporations, they've stitched us up. They've stitched up the little guy. That's how it works.
I've got it figured out, don't I?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
No.
let's not talk about
Anyway, we've gone well off topic here. I can't remember.
Wait, so I'm sort of trying to confirm what the issue is. It's like that it's because you're having to pay $400 to work at a place, and you're having to do free sessions, like, but you get given the leads. So you're paying for the leads in the space.
Yeah.
So when you worked at Good Life, like, how many leads would you get?
Well, I started when it first opened, we had hundreds of leads.
Right, because you were busy.
But that was a different story. If you come into this gym when it's been established for a while, usually the people who are new get the majority of the new leads, and they try to build up like your client base. That's usually how it works. But I mean, that's not like, nobody knows who you are. You've got to build just sort of like a brand for yourself before people are actually going to come and see you as a trainer.
Yeah.
So it is hard going. As someone who worked in that industry, I would say I saw like 90% turnover from new people. Like,
Yeah.
you saw new people. At some point, I stopped almost introducing myself to the new trainers, because I was like, I'm not going to see them in a few months.
I can't be bothered talking to them. What? They can't bother learning a name.
Yeah, they'll have to prove themselves
Don't they have
first.
their name on their shirt?
They're gone in a few months. I was like,
Hold on. I think the issue is, I don't think the issue is the gyms. Obviously, it'd be better for us if we got paid or whatever. But I think the issue is the PT school. Because you come out of, think about it, right? Tradies doing an apprenticeship for 4 years. We do a freaking go to school for 3 months, or what is it, 6 months? I don't even know how long it
Yeah.
takes. A
Yeah.
year?
oh, yeah, 3 to 6 months.
You go to
Yeah,
school
I know.
for a year and then you're just thrown in and then that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue. Whereas like I'd like to think if we say we had a little mentor person for a year, I reckon I could teach them how to make money at Good Life.
Yeah, but they'd also have to love it, I think.
Yeah, or
They'd also have to be into it, be passionate about training.
they have to froth it. It's like people ask me, and I'm pretty honest with people. Hey, like PT, like is it a cool job, or like should I do it? I'm like, do you love fitness on those days that you don't want to train? Do you train? And like if they say no, I'm like, don't work in fitness because it's you have to absolutely love it to make it.
Yeah, if you're getting into it for the money, you're in the wrong industry.
You can make you obviously can make money in any industry, but it's not. Yeah, you have to love it
Yeah.
to even get close to making money or good money.
Yeah, that's like most things though. Like, the money's a consequence of you doing a good job and you putting in, your blood, sweat and tears and passion into it to make it into something, not just like, oh, I'm going to do this thing and now I'm successful.
I think the hours are just shit when you're
All right.
Because it's split
Anyway.
shift.
yeah
It's a
because
big,
you're working at night and morning. Whereas like if you go do something else, you just work during the day.
Yeah. So what would your advice be for a PT that's about to send it into a new gym and pay $400 a rent a week? What's your advice?
Well, try to
Introduce yourself to the old trainers.
no, we'll try to get a job with someone who's going to pay you a wage. But then I guess if
But
you,
like
if you
they,
have to go
they
into
might
that-
not develop them though. The key is development. You might not get any development from
that's your
one thing.
advice,
You might be stuck in. You might be stuck there for 5 years getting whatever it is a week. Where I don't know. I think you just have to learn from someone that's doing what you like. So if you look at a coach and he's working 3 hours a week and then doing a lot of online stuff, you're like that sounds good. Ask him some questions.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that's
it's the same
probably
with
the
any.
way.
I think anything in the fitness industry, like you almost have to work for free. It's the same if you want to coach athletes, right? You've got to go do an internship with a footy club, and you just work for nothing for like sometimes years to get into S&C, right?
Well, that's why I'm here, because I found out the wage for working in professional sport. I mean, I already make that. Why the hell would I go? And this was just me as a PT. I was like, that's not what I want to be. And then I was speaking to someone, and they're like, the job security is shocking. Like, if a coach gets fired, then like generally S&C goes with them. So you just like you have a contract for a year, you might get paid whatever it is, an average wage, and then you might get fired the next year. But it's getting better though. Like the education and fitness is getting way bigger in Australia, but we're still 10 years behind America, I would say.
Yeah,
'Cause
America does it all through school, all through, like
The college,
developing
yeah,
people
the
in college
college S&C coaches get paid more than professional S&C coaches in the AFL.
Right.
Yeah, and
Well,
that's
Jamie Smith went to America and learned over there.
yeah,
Do you know his story?
yeah. Yes, I know his story. He
Was that
went,
smart? Was that a good thing to do?
Oh, 100%. Well, the only reason why he did it because Woodford did it. So Woodford.
Oh, he just
So yeah, so we did Woodford's. Me, Jamie. There was a few of us. Charlie, Jared Kay. There's a few pretty successful people that came out of that mentorship group, and the number one thing Woodford said was like, he sold his car or whatever. I think it was his car, or Jamie Smith sold his car. One of them two sold their car, and just like went over to America and learnt off a college coach for 1 year. Did like a 1 year mentorship, and then came back and applied all that here, and that's pretty much So then
That's
Jamie,
ballsy.
so then Jamie Smith did that. Once Christian Woodford's like, that's what made him him. Like, so that's what Jamie Smith's like. I want to be like you, and then he went and did it. Because I remember
Yeah.
he went and saw like this push-up specialist. That's why he has all those. Does he still have chains and stuff in his gym?
Oh, yeah, there was chains there.
Yeah, because they used to love like chained push-ups. He went and learned off this coach that was pretty famous for using like push-ups and chains for pressing.
Right.
Anyways,
That's cool.
yeah.
There you go. Yeah, cool.
we just went totally off topic.
What have you guys done anything differently as upcoming PTs or like like back in the day? Do you reckon? Do you wish you went over to America and did something like that, or
I wish I
wish you
would.
learn off other people, or like did
I
something?
mean, the
You
thing
go.
with
Finish uni.
I think the thing with the fit, like the longer you're in the fitness industry and the more you learn, the less you sort of know. So
Yeah.
like, and the problem with the industry
Dunning-Kruger.
is still in its infancy, and there's still so many studies coming out that sort of debunk things that have happened in the past, and also there's lots of ways to achieve a result to get to the same goal. So like everybody's got their own, like, their own way, their own methodology to get somebody better, and in the end there's no like right or wrong, it's just whatever works.
Right.
So you might, like, a lot of the things that you read in books, that's already old news.
Yeah, debunked.
It's already like, that's not the most efficient way to develop people. So I mean, I think you've just got to just be a sponge and just try to learn as much as possible. And yes, of course, like, I guess if you had that opportunity to go and learn from the best in the world, you would take it, right? It's like anything. It's like you with your training, you want to train with the best people to become the best.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I don't.
I don't think I would change anything though.
Like, is there anyone you would have liked to have just learned from? I guess any mentors or any people you wish you had access to back in the day that like you were like, man, he was doing some influential shit. Like, it would have been good to get around him. Like, imagine you went and did like a mentorship with like Juggernaut, like something.
Yeah,
like that.
but
Like,
that's
I know you're big on them, Sammy.
yeah, that's pretty much what I learned everything off. That's what I tell everyone: go watch a Juggernaut video.
So you
I
would've-
wouldn't change anything on my knowledge side. I think my knowledge side, like I learned from who I wanted to learn off. Yes, it would have been cool to go to America, but I don't know. That may have changed where I am now, so I might not be in this scene. I may have gone down the professional route. I like where I am now. That way, I would change by just learning how to do my freaking finances earlier, man.
Oh yeah.
Literally, if I had someone say, "Hey, this is what you should be doing to track your income, or to project your income, or to not pay so much," not pay, that's the wrong wording. To essentially just make sure, yeah.
To have high expenses, is that what you're
Yeah,
talking about?
no, not have high expenses. Just make sure your finances are tight, tracking, and then actually making decisions based on that. Maybe even just go to do a little bit of business school. That's
Yeah.
probably the only thing I would change.
And that's the other thing about working as a PT. You come in as a subcontractor. You're essentially running your own business from day dot, and you get taught nothing about running a business in your schooling. So yeah, you can train someone, and you get this money, but then you've got to actually put money away for super, for tax. You've got to do all that stuff yourself. You don't get any of those like those perks that you would if you had a wage from an employer.
Mhm.
So then you've got extra, like, and people don't get told about this. And
No.
then at the end of their
Well, you
first
won't.
year, they're like, oh, you've got this massive tax bill
Yeah.
because you've earned this money. Or like, that's why,
Yeah, it's better now though, because I think they are teaching you, and a lot of PTs are now starting companies, or they're not just being a subcontractor and they're putting themselves on wages. That's the right thing to do, in my opinion. But back when we started, like, we did pretty well, and I made all this money. I was like, yeah, this is sick. I'm living the dream. And the next minute, do the
Bang.
Yeah. I was like, why did no one ever teach me that I should be putting away at least 15% or something? And I was like, anyways. So that's the only thing I would go back. But lesson learned that the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the only thing I would change. What about you? You didn't even work in the system.
No, not really.
No?
No, I didn't. No, I've just been a CrossFit coach this whole time.
You just got Russified. You got Russified.
Yeah, yeah. I got Russified. I got Samified. I got Luke Starified. Currently getting Rob Forteified and Jamie Smithified, and who else have I worked with? Been
You're
a
doing
couple.
muscle doc right now.
Yeah, doing Muscle Doc at the moment, learning from him. I think I'm gonna go do the Strength Culture CDP, the Coaches Development Program. Just go spend a couple of hours with them.
Isn't that what you did, or is
Oh,
this a
wait.
different one?
That was like their online mentorship. So it
Uh-huh.
was like 2 sessions. That was like 2 online sessions a week. But this, I'm gonna go and actually like do in person hours with them and see how they. I suppose you get taught in person, not.
Yeah.
It's like 2 hours a week. So you go in on like a 10:30 on a Tuesday and the Friday, I think it is, and then they just teach you just how they do things and learn from
sounds
other
cool.
people and just see how other people are doing it that are successful in the industry and take it back, bring it back home and see what we can do.
How's your muscle doc thing? I haven't even spoke to you about it.
It's going well. Yeah, it's actually it's good. Like yeah, I just yeah do the
Is it anatomy based or is it business based or is it everything?
no business.
No, so just
Full anatomy.
okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, we like we broke down like language and how they've spoke a lot about how the words you use is really important, like not to just gain people's attention, but to make sure that you're being accurate in the way you're describing things, and that like the language of how we convey messages is so important, because you may know something in your brain, but like our brains are so complex, and it's like to get that message to your mouth and outside, there's so many like and then into the world, into someone else's ears, and for them to hear the same thing in their brain, like you have to use the correct language. It's like using the right key into a lock. So
Yeah,
that was really cool. Then we broke down the shoulder for a couple of weeks. Now we're getting into the hip.
I think anatomy is the only like really helps being a coach. I know you think it like you don't really need to know, but if you know like what's going on in the body, it really helps the coach, especially with injuries and whatnot, things to do and not to do. And but
Yeah,
anatomy
definitely.
was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and the idea here is to help to build knowledge around understanding what to do before people go and get a script. That's why it's called the pre-script level 1.
Is that
Yeah.
cool?
Yeah. So like to help people with injuries, and when they're feeling pain in their front of the shoulder, why they might be feeling pain in the front of their shoulder. And then
So
so
makes so much sense. I didn't think about it. Why it was called
before they go
pre-script.
to a physio or someone else or a professional, and they're like told not to exercise for 6 weeks, where they're like training is the best thing you can do.
Is he a physio?
Chiro.
I should know that.
Chiro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that, well, that's the hardest hurdle as a coach. I think it's like, it's one thing to teach somebody to do something correctly, but there's another thing is like once someone it can't do a movement because they're hurting, then how do you modify things to make sure they can keep training? Because the last thing you want to do is stop training, but that's probably everyone's first reaction is like, oh, I'm sore, I'm going to rest. And a lot of the time resting doesn't make things better.
Yeah.
Because whatever's still sore is still weak or still dysfunctional, and then you come back in and then you maybe feel better, and then instantly you've hurt yourself again.
Yeah.
Or you've hurt something else because something else is, taking the load for what that previously injured part of your body was.
Yeah, and in saying that, like the there is time where you do just need to stop using a joint. If your elbow's inflamed and sore, like let's give the push-ups a rest for a second. I know I had Michelle, and we were working on muscle ups for a while there, and she is just like an Energizer bunny. Like you have to tell her to stop, because she's just like go 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 go, and I'm like, look, the best thing here is actually we've got to focus on like a bit of rehab for your elbow. Like, so I just had her pressing like 1 kilo dumbbells, and we progressed that over time to like when she was. I got her up to pressing, I think, 10 kilo dumbbells pain free from like pressing 1 kilo dumbbells with pain. And then we got back into muscle up work, and it was better. And, but I think that sometimes you just need to have a rest for a joint. But it's like, what about the rest of your body? Like, just because your elbow's sore, why is it like, I know it's like people get emotionally hurt, or like, because their elbow is sore, so they're like, oh, I just can't be bothered with the gym at all right now because I've got this injury that's getting me down.
It's it's hard because you feel like you're a burden. Well, maybe you feel like you're a burden when
you
come.
No, people feel that for sure.
Because they're like, oh well, I can't do that, and that. I'm gonna be after, but like we're more than happy to make adjustments.
We love it. Like that's us doing our job, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I get excited because I get excited when you're injured. Just kidding, but it definitely we feel useful.
Knocked off another one.
Bang. Yeah, bang, gone. Yeah, but like you feel like you can help, right? Like you like it's.
Does he talk about like the fact that we're coaches and that sometimes people listen to, I don't know, what's it called when you like with injuries, obviously people will listen to physios because that's what they've studied. Do they talk about that? Like as a coach, how to break through like maybe bad advice from someone that's more qualified than us? You should ask if they have.
Yeah, no, they haven't really talked about that too much specifically.
Yeah.
But that's I think that's definitely a thing. Like, yeah.
But you can also go and receive bad advice, right? Like
from anyone.
Yeah, from anybody. So like it's always good to get a second opinion. And I mean,
definitely,
Matt Young was a good example because he, had a snowboarding accident.
Yeah.
Hurt his back.
Right.
And then he went to, it wasn't right. And he went to see somebody about it. He went to see someone who was pretty like high up in the industry, was seen as a bit of, you know, the person to go and see. And that person, the first thing he said to do is to fuse your back. Oh, we're gonna
Who was
get a.
Oh,
We're gonna.
tell me after the podcast.
I don't
Text
name
me.
names, but
Text me.
he was like high up in elite sport, so you know this guy knows what he's doing. But obviously, he's working with a lot of athletes, and maybe his
Oh, I know who it
maybe
is.
his you know
What?
his mantra is like, oh, we just got to get him back on the field. We'll do whatever we can to get him paying for him back on the field. And obviously, that's not the case. And like Matt just wants to be, you know, healthy. And he
Yeah.
was like, all right, we're going to burn off your nerve endings, and then we're going to fuse you back.
I
And-
actually find that super
and
hard to believe.
and
That is
he
mental.
decided, wait
Yeah.
a second, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Either of those things.
Yeah.
So he just decided, like, I'll just start training again and take it slow, and we'll see how I feel in a little while.
Yeah.
And now he's back in CrossFit classes, and yeah, like he's taking it a bit easier, but like he's nowhere near getting his back fused.
General advice I would say is like anyone that tells you on the first session you go and see them that you're getting surgery, go get a second opinion.
Well, he actually waited for one of his relatives or something was a surgeon, and he was coming over from overseas, like some distant relative or friend and family. You can't remember the exact specifics, but
Mhm.
he's like, just wait, I'll come and have a look at it
And
yeah,
it's-
before you know you do anything. You know what I mean?
God, he did that.
Mm.
Now he's back, man. He was sending it on the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, last week.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that's what I've found is a challenge. I've had some people receive some bad advice, and I'm like,
Yeah, I think Jack's.
and I'm like, that's wrong. But how do I say that's wrong without offending them, the person that they like trust?
Yeah.
Because some people like been seeing this physio or this myo for like 10 years, and they're like their best friends.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyways.
Well, I would just approach that scenario and be like, hey, look, you know, I've got an idea and have dealt with this problem, you know, a few times in the past, and like this is how I would approach it, and just giving you my ideas on that. And obviously, you do whatever you want. The choice is yours at the end of the day. But I would definitely suggest, you know, just having a crack and trying something different. Try these exercises. Give this a go before you go and get under the knife. Because once you get under the knife, you can't, like, it's going to be a long recovery, and you can't undo it.
Oh.
So, you
Yeah.
know, just I think you can always suggest, like,
Yeah.
always.
I'm better at it now. When I was a bit younger, I used to be like a bit more aggressive with it. No, that's wrong.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now I work out
Passionate.
that doesn't work. Like you need to just approach it with the long-term approach. Now I'm just like, all right, cool. Let's do what you can do. I just tell them use this as an opportunity to focus on the things that you can do, and let's drill them in. And yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways,
And unless it was an acute injury, like unless it happened playing sport or like, you know, you hurt your back snowboarding, like usually people can like you'll injure your low back because you've been focusing on deadlifts and your deadlift, you've been aggressively like increasing your weights in your deadlift. So usually it's like, I just looked at it as like, okay, you've like, you know, your back's a bit aggravated. You've you know, you have increased your deadlift, but now your body's telling you to rest on that. And it's like, what can we focus on now? It's like, you know, it's just like changing the mindset to, okay, my lens was like really focused on my deadlift and I was really excited to get better at my deadlift, but I've got a sore back now. It's like, that's okay. All right. Like, let's focus, like, how your toes to bar going? Like, you know, toes to bar, there's a lot of midline going in that movement, but how's your ring dip strength going? How's your push up strength going? Oh yeah, we could work on that. Like, what else are you motivated to work
Yeah.
on? Like,
Yeah, you got to get them excited about something. You got to get excited about something and stay consistent because either you're getting better or you're getting worse. Like that's the long and short of it.
what did we
So-
used to do when we used to snap our back? I used to have a bad case of, me and Russ used to have a bad case of like doing maximal effective dose. Like minimum effective dose is like doing the minimum amount to get better. When we used to train, we used to just send it and do everything. So pretty much when we got to the end of a block, we're broken. Remember, we'd do like a squat block. My back's broken by the end of it. Then we'd do a bench block. Then I'd break my shoulder. Then I'd just keep going backwards and forwards.
just yo-yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean-
don't get too excited.
Yeah, you're at your highest chance of like injury as you're
Yeah.
approaching a peak for something, right? Like, you know, you're generally speaking, like, you know, as you're leading up to a comp, probably for you and Jack in the past, it's like that's when things happen, right?
Yeah.
It's like as you're getting to that point where all your loads are getting heavy and, you know, your volume's probably going up and your conditioning like that, you're at more risk of injury then versus like,
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
always towards the end of a, you know, a peak, like things are gonna maybe not feel 100%.
Yeah, there's more risk lifting heavier
It's all,
weights.
it's all controlled
Yeah.
damage at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. But like, so what did you guys like? Why did you guys do that? Like, what was it about the maximal?
I
Like,
used to just fucking send it, man. That was
Right.
our
No, I think-
training session.
I think when
Yeah.
you are younger and you're obviously a lot more. I've got to say I'm a lot more enthusiastic of probably 10 years ago about training than I am today, and now I'm like a bit more realistic about things. But like you used to want to do everything. You used to want to do everything.
Yeah.
So you're like, that looks fun. That looks fun. You know what I mean? And so you end up doing everything, and what you can't recover from everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember I used to give every rep, every exercise, of every session 150% of my max. I used to just, I don't know, I was weird back then.
Yeah.
I loved it. But yeah, but we didn't do enough hip thrusts, man. I just kept doing, well, I'm just way too quad dominant. But anyways, we're working on it. We're hip thrusting. You put hip thrusts in 3 times this week? 2
Nah.
times?
Just
They're on the
once.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Then they're on the extras.
Now they're gone for the extra.
Oh, that's good.
yeah, that's
Yeah. I was like, holy shit, Russ. You can tell Russ did this program. Hip thrusts 3 times. Tuesday, it was Tuesday, Wednesday, and I think it was like on the Friday or something.
Get some high frequency glute training. Why not?
So anyway,
yeah, that was a 30-minute intro.
Yeah. Yeah. So high skills. What do you intro this, Sammy? Give us the intro.
Oh man, I'm done after the intro, man. I'm brain faded. Nah, I think what we were talking about is like how to become like an RX athlete. The 1 year RX athlete, I think, is a cool little topic. So that's obviously you start CrossFit and just trying to learn everything. Is that the right wording?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Learn
to learn everything to be RX, and obviously there's some high skilled stuff and there's some strength stuff. So, what's the best thing to do, Russ? Man, you look ready to go.
okay. Well, everybody's different, so it depends on you. But like, obviously, what people tend to do is they tend to work on things that they're good at, the things they like, instead of working on the things that they suck at and the things because if you suck at something, you're not going to enjoy it. So if anyone says, I don't like that exercise to me, I'm like, well, you're shit at it, aren't you? That's what I'm thinking in my head. I don't tell them that. But I'm saying,
IE salmon hip thrust.
yeah, it's like me. I'm like saying,
I'll admit it, man.
look, or like, I don't like handstand walks, but I'm not very good at handstand walks, right? Because every time I come across them, I'm like, oh, this is going to be hard, right? I'm not very good at these things. So you tend to go, if you're not good at something, you tend to go, you try to stay away from it. Really, that's probably the thing that you should be doing more of. And the other problem people have is they want to get to the fun stuff. They want to get to those, they want to do the muscle ups, they want to do the hard things, but they haven't gotten good at the basics first. So it's like you've got to earn your right to do those things. Yes, that looks fun, that looks exciting, but if you don't have a few strict pull-ups, then why are you even trying to do this thing that requires,
Because CrossFit, man. Box muscle up.
Yeah.
fast,
So
mate.
it's like, all right, well, you're doing all the drills to get better to do a muscle up, but you don't have 5 strict pull-ups. Like, what are you doing? Like, you've got to earn the right to get there. And then I think that's the other problem people come across. So it's like, get ridiculously good at the basics first, and then practice the high skills.
I like that, Russ.
So what's a basic? Because we always say the basics, right? What are the basics that people are skipping?
Well, I would say like the very first thing that someone should do in terms of, well, if you're talking upper body strength, right?
Mhm.
They should have to do 10, at least anybody, male or female, should at least have to do 10 perfect toe push-ups.
Mhm.
And people start doing handstand push-ups before they've even developed the ability to do 10 push-ups. But anyone should have to drop down
That's
and
a
do
big
10
one.
push-ups.
That's cool.
Like
Yeah,
that's like
alright.
all right.
What's the next one
and-
then? So 10 toe push-ups?
All right, and then probably some sort of strict pull-up, because if you don't have a strict pull-up, how are you gonna, get your whole body weight up and over a bar or a set of rings?
5 strict pull-ups is
5 is probably
Five.
the
I can only do 5 right now, I reckon.
that's a lot.
Keels did a bar muscle up when she could do 3 strict pull-ups.
Yeah, you can do it. I'm not saying that you can't.
Three. But
Yeah.
she's an anomaly. Like most people I see that generally can do 5 strict pull-ups, then could go and do
You
a muscle up.
probably could do a kipping muscle up with no pull-ups. The problem is
Don't say that.
No, the
Yeah.
problem is your risk of injury
Yeah.
is going to be so much higher than somebody who has
Front flip
5
bar.
strict pull-ups.
Yeah.
Because
Because once you come down, you just douche into the shoulders.
yeah, well, it's something like 3 times your body weight of
Oh.
force at the bottom of a kip swing.
Where did you learn that? That
That's-
sounds
that's-
that's funny.
I've
huh?
read
It's
that.
basic
How
maths,
do you
bro.
know that
It's
stat?
basic maths, Sam. Obviously, man. We've done the graphs.
Well, think about it.
Mate, what's
You're
the
just
stat?
saying it.
No,
We've got
I-
the spreadsheets. Don't question it, bro. Don't.
I reckon it's probably true, but where the freaking?
Oh, I've read it somewhere, man. I'll
Read it on Wordproof.
put it in the notes somewhere. I'll pull it up. We'll get on
No, what was
Google.
the stat?
Article
Like
of what
3
life.
times your body weight of force
Mm.
at extreme of your kip.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. It's probably
Yeah.
come
Like the
from
bottom of
some-
your kip. You've come up
It's
for
come from
you've
some
come up for a
CrossFit hater,
kipping
bro.
pull up and you're coming down, or you're coming up for a muscle up, then you're coming down, and then you're going.
What about butterflies?
Well, it's probably similar.
1.5.
It depends how smooth
Anyway,
your butterflies
yeah,
are.
it depends how smooth.
Depends how
Oh,
efficient
mate,
they are.
There's some people that are coming down with 15 times.
Yeah.
The old drop.
The old
that
I was
Pull
actually
and
bounce
douche.
off your
Pull and
shoulder.
I was
douche.
actually scared to get people to do jumping bar muscle ups the other day. I'm like, hey, these are cool, but just don't front flip off the bar and land on your spine in the box.
Yeah. It's a
I
risk
didn't-
assessment.
I
It
didn't
is.
tell them that. I'm just like, when you get to the top, because I remember Russ was coaching them, but he's like, just throw your head over.
Look,
And he's exaggerating the demo, and I'm like, Russ, don't tell him that, because I can just imagine someone not strong enough going, rolling the head over, front flipping, doing a bed.
I've only seen one person. I've been a coach for what, 12 years. I've seen one person go over the top, and they held on and did a full somersault. So it's all good.
Was that
Okay.
best?
Yep, that was
Yeah,
best.
yeah.
And
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never seen
Yeah, it
anyone
worked.
else go over the top.
It
of the
worked
bar.
out, but I was
Never.
just scared. We had a few people that we had a few people just like getting on top of the bar for the first time ever, and they're just like toying with it. Anyway, but I just pictured it.
I think that's
like-
pretty hard to do. I don't know how he managed that. Like the only way you can do that is if your feet end up higher than your body, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't go over if your feet are below your body. Like you're not gonna flip over the top. If your feet start to come up,
I reckon you can, man. If you've got enough head force.
I don't know. No, I haven't seen it. Like I said,
You
I've
gotta
only
do-
seen it one rep. One
gotta-
rep ever.
You got a heavy enough chin.
How
man.
many
You
how
flip
many
it.
reps have I seen?
Well, I saw Bez do it. Bez could do it as a party trick now. He did it in class, bro.
I reckon he had the party trick prior and just did it for funsies. Come to CrossFit if you want to build head force.
Anyway,
We stuck on staying on topic. Back to Russ said
Yeah,
some
back to the
absurd
skills.
What do you
stat.
think, Sam? What's
No, I wanna hear Russ.
what's necessary to be a RX athlete? Russ has said how many strict pull-ups? 10 body weight push-ups. How many strict pull-ups? Name it.
well, you should be shooting for 5.
5.
But like
Five.
first, a lot of people don't have.
No, I want
one
to know
at
the rest.
start,
I
right?
want to know the
I
rest
like
of
five.
yours. Though.
I
I
like
want to know
five.
the rest of yours though, because I agree. There is
Five's
basics.
good.
Are obviously, so there's push up. There's pull
5
up.
strict pull-ups, yeah. And then
What
you-
else is there?
Well, you know,
Fucking
you've got.
I reckon mobility's one that's overlooked.
Well, yeah, but you've
Like,
got to
not
be
a
able
dra-
to probably do a, do
Sit in your body weight squat.
like if you've got any movement that you can't do, then you've got
Mhm.
there's a dysfunction somewhere that's stopping you. And
Mhm.
like some people aren't, may have a previous injury that their joint doesn't move that way, their body doesn't move that way, and they're never going to get into that position, and then that's okay. You just got to accept that and don't do that movement. But if you don't have any of that going on, then you should be working towards getting into all the positions, which is
Yeah.
like probably like the overhead squat's a good screen
Mm.
because it requires mobility at the hip, ankle, and your thoracic and your shoulder. And if you can do a good overhead squat, you can do most other things with the barbell.
You're balling if you can do a good overhead squat.
Yeah,
And front rack.
Yeah, you need to be able to front rack.
yeah.
You need to be able to front rack. They're the two.
But I mean, like those are two things that, like, if you've never done any training before and you walk into a gym, that probably say that 80% of people aren't going to be able to do well,
Mhm.
right? One of those things are probably going to come up and stomp you.
I wouldn't say 80% of people won't do well, but I'd say like 80% of the people that do have an issue, probably 80% of those people are front rack and overhead squat, I guess. It's a different stat. It's slightly different.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Back to the question. So Russ said master the basics. The question was how to become a U1 year. It's hard because it's such a general question. I know I asked it, but it is super general, and what I mean by that is you need to obviously have a screen, as Russ was just talking about now. The first thing to do would obviously be assess what you need to work on. So what that may be is it may be mobility in a certain joint, it may be strength in a certain range, it may be conditioning, it may be strength, and it may obviously be the high skilled stuff, right? So if there's a general new person coming in, I would say the best thing to do, I know this is a lame answer, is obviously speak to your coach or the coach you rapport with, and sort of just say, hey, like, what's the best thing that I could be doing now to focus on
Yeah.
to get better. So right now in classes, we're doing a shitload of strength. Like we're doing a heap of powerlifting stuff. So now might not be the best time to focus on strength outside of class because we're focusing so much on it. It might actually be to focus on your mobility or your conditioning or whatever your hole is. So I think it does depend on what your gym is that you're at and what they're doing. And then just obviously what your holes are. But obviously working with a coach is is the best way. Pay to win, huh? Pay to win. But essentially working with your coach and identifying your weaknesses, and then it's more or less how the best thing to do for those weaknesses. So we all might have different opinions on that. That's just life, and we like to do different things. But I would say, like, if you're trying to do high skill stuff, like Russ is talking about, obviously mastering the basics, I 100% agree with. Like, you want to master those basics, but in saying that, that doesn't mean that you can't work on skills as well. So that means you can still obviously work on your kipping swing, your hollows. You could maybe do banded stuff like transitions. It doesn't just mean you have to tick off your pull-ups before you even start thinking about them. Just because like to work on your pull-up strength, it doesn't take that long. What are you going to program?
Oh no, it does. It does. Especially if you've
not to get the pull up. It does take long to get the pull up. I mean the session.
Right.
You might do 3 sets of eccentric, 2 sets of bicep curls. That's your pull up strength done. You've still got 30 minutes of stuff that you want to do.
That's why you need 50 double unders. You need 50 double unders as an RX athlete. And how we can get you to 50 double unders. I would say for skipping frequency is a big one. You can skip every single day and practice that skill of skipping. Get good at your singles. Once your singles are pretty crispy, throw in some double under work. Throw in some slow singles where you're practicing the cadence of a high jump in the double under. Throw your
Jack's running a class.
Throw your penguin drills in. Throw your penguin drills in. Jump, double tap your side. You look like a flying penguin out of Mario Kart. And then once it's time to ramp it up, single doubles. Single doubles is one of the best exercises that can build double under control out there because they're awesome. Because all you got to do is you don't even need to go single double. You can do 10 singles, 1 double, 10 singles, 1 double, and just do sets like that. And then when you're ready, take it down to 9, and it's a game. Take it down lower and lower. Before you know it, you're going single double, and then. Now it's time to do single, double, single. So you're doing two. So now you're practicing 2 double unders in a row, right? And same thing. If you need to do 10 single skips between that, that's fine. But get a rhythm, get your cadence, and practice. Practice is key. Practice.
And buy Jack Clark's double under handbook.
Did you
buy my ebook? The link's going to be down in the description. Buy my double under
ebook.
ebook.
100% reherse that.
No, man. I rehearse it every time I coach double unders, right?
Yeah, true.
But then the same thing applies for crossover doubles.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's the exact same thing. Like when we were learning crossover doubles, I'm just like, well, how do we learn these? And it's like exactly the same way we learnt double unders, which is what I just said, but with crossover skips. So I started with single.
What's the penguin drill called? Is it change animal?
No, because we already know double under timing.
Yeah, but it's a different arm movement.
I don't know. The orangutan? The orangutan?
Dude, if you start doing orangutans and
clapping penguins, man.
But you do like your single crossovers, and then you do. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, it comes down to again getting good at the basics before you try to get good at the fancy stuff. And it's like, well, why are you trying double unders when you can't do a single skip? You can't even jump over the rope 100 times without it looking bad. Why are you trying to do double unders?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, probably the majority of us had already done some form of skipping before we got showed how to do double unders, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that was true?
I knew how to skip before I did double unders. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot
Yeah.
of
So
skipping
a
in
lot of
school.
people are like, all right, I need to do double unders. I got to get the lightest, fastest rope available
Yeah.
to make it as easy as possible instead of going, okay, you know what? I'm not great at the skipping thing. I just need to skip. You know, I just need to skip.
Cool.
And then learning how to do it with a heavier rope first means that you can do it with a light rope later. And my double unders didn't look good at the start, but it, like, you know, like I was doing tuck jumps. Like when we first did double unders, we did tuck jumps. They were the hardest thing in the world. You did 20 double unders, you gassed as anything. You're jumping 3 meters in the air every rep.
Russ is like the double under dad you never had. You guys remember that? You guys remember that scene from Peaky Blinders where Arthur did 1,000 skips? It's like showed the it like zoomed in on him, like there was like a panning shot, and he's just skipping, and then he's like 1,000 and through the rope,
I thought,
and that was the scene.
I thought for sure Russ was going to talk about the mirror, man.
Oh, mirror.
Mirror's good. Mirror's good.
The mirror is great. It's a good teaching tool because, like, you know, and it's sad that we don't have a mirror. in
Don't
gym.
call
Some-
out anything that you're going to do.
No, I'm just saying, if there's any movement that the mirror is a good idea, it's practicing skipping because you immediately seeing what you're doing wrong.
And 5-second eccentric bicep curls
Why are we doing that?
To look good
for
in
the mirror. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Just to make sure that vein's tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, to see, because how many times do you see people where they're like their arms aren't symmetrical in double unders?
Yeah.
But honestly, how many people, no offense to the people that can't do double unders, I think double under issues are low now, I reckon.
In
Oh, but
generally,
there's still-
in our gym.
Like, I feel like everyone that comes into CrossFit's done skipping in school, and it's not that bad. Don't get me wrong, there's
No, there's still a few
There's-
people that just like double unders elude them and they're just like, oh no, double unders, here we go again. And like, you know, and it's one of those movements that like they're either really easy, like not really easy, but easy, or they're really, really hard.
Yeah, it is like
And
that,
it's
isn't it?
like you just lost the workout completely because you couldn't do this simple skill.
No, you're right.
But
I take that back. I take it back.
It
guys.
is just a skill.
You've
at
got the
end of
sauce or
day.
you don't.
So, but I think the people that they just either the people that aren't good at double unders is like they probably don't practice enough because when you do suck at them, you look
100%.
like an idiot. You look like an idiot. Even
And
I
it's
was
frustrating.
practicing some crossover skips the other day, and I was like failing. I was like, I don't want to do this in front of a whole class of people. I'm just gonna trip every single fucking time. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to accept that you're gonna sort of look like a bit of a spud for a while before you get good at it.
Yeah.
So then that's something that you don't want to be over in the corner tripping your rope up. And then also the other people, they get frustrated.
Dude,
Like,
you overthink these things. Why do you worry about what people care? What do you mean?
that I'm just putting myself in other people's shoes. That's what. And then
Some people do care.
people do get very frustrated very easily because they're like, why can that person make that look so easy and I just can't?
But we've
do this?
earned it, bro. We've
And
earned
no,
it.
not even. Like some people can come in
I've
and
earned it.
they can do it. No, some people can come in and do perfect.
Yeah,
double unders
because
on the
they've done
first day.
boxing and they've been skipping for 5 hours.
No, maybe they're just. Some people are just naturally coordinated and they can just do these things, and some people can't, and that's fine. But like it can get really frustrating because you got this little rope in your hand and you're just trying to get over it, and you just can't get it. And then
It's
you know,
from the elbows, guys. It's the
Yeah.
elbow and the wrist. It's
Yeah.
not. You don't think it's like I tell people. I like to go. It's like whipping your mate in the change room. You gotta get that nice. You gotta get that nice whip. You know. You gotta. It's the same thing. You gotta finesse that rope. You know how many times you go on for the whip and you just give him like a
So-
flaccid towel hit. You know what I mean? It's
So
just
you
been
reckon the size of the rope matters? Because I reckon that's
size of the rope's huge. Yeah,
Yeah,
you got to
because-
start. I reckon 2 feet standing on the rope. The rope's got to be above the nips.
it's not the size it matters. It's
No,
how you use
Not
it.
at the 9:30. Not at the 9:30 class though.
you can't say that.
What?
In terms of rope size, a thicker rope is better. Thicker rope is better, right? To learn with.
When you're learning, a thicker rope.
Oh, I've got something to say, dude. I've got something to say. I got a client, Hannah Blair. I'm calling her out, and she hates double unders. We're working on it. We're working on 50. I think her max is 25.
So that's not bad.
That's good.
But she just doesn't do them in class. I was like,
Right.
Hannah, you can do 25.
Yeah.
She's like, it's annoying. And I was like, I know that but you just got to do it.
Mm.
So I think what Russ was saying, being frustrated and not actually doing them in class, is huge. Because you're not doing yourself any favor. If you just do them in class for 3 months, like you'll tick them off. I'm sure you will.
Hannah Blair, we're coming for you. We know now.
I film her every time. Like, what's going on? And
If-
she's straight arming them.
If
I'm
you've
like,
got
"Yeah,
20,
yeah,
if you've got 25, you can do them in workouts.
You're on your
Yeah,
way.
but
You are on your way.
Yeah, but doing double unders in workouts when it's paired with upper body is different as well. And then there's people that are like, I just don't have double unders
Yeah.
today. I'm just like, it's not that it's today. It's the fact that we just did 800 push-ups. Your arms are cooked, your shoulders are sore, and you're holding your rope out this way because your arms hurt.
Yeah.
So workouts play a role as well. And then same with like leg day. Like, say you've done 400 lunges and you're paired with double unders, you're probably not jumping as high as you think you are. So
Yeah, you look like Bambi.
so so doing them in class, not being emotional with them, and just doing them another time as well.
Because you hit the
Doing it
feet
wrong.
and it's like, oh no, it's all good. I'll just try again, and then you hit your feet again, and you're like, look, it's fine, it's fine. I like double unders. I'm gonna keep going. And then you hit your feet a third time, and you're like, I'm gonna throw this rope. I'm just doing singles. Fuck it, I'm done. Whereas it's like, hit my feet, all good. Hit my feet, all good. Hit my,
You gotta stay chill, huh?
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah,
stay
you gotta
zen.
stay relaxed down.
Anna, what is it about hitting your feet that just feels like you've just done 20 reps every time you hit your feet? Something about it.
Yeah.
It's like once you're in the rhythm and you're going, they feel easy. And as soon as you trip, you can't breathe.
Because it's a score. It's like a mini game. It's like a CrossFit mini game. You're like, oh yeah. Everyone likes to get to the end of the workout and go, yeah, I did my double unders unbroken. Did you? Like, or you go, oh yeah. I was doing sets of 20 consistently. Whereas it's like, so it's like a streak. Like you don't want to break the streak once you're rolling. You know, you're like, you don't want to stop at 86. You want to get to 100.
It is a flex.
Anyway, enough about double unders. But if you do want to get better at something, you do need to practice. And I think that if you want to get better at something, you need to focus on one thing that you want to get better at, not 100 different things.
Yeah, so that's why you got to get the
People-
rope every day.
People get off track, right? They're like, I need to get stronger for my squat. But wait a second, my squat mobility is not very good. Ooh, I need to start yoga to get better for my squat mobility. Oh, and then, oh no, what else? Oh,
Yeah.
I need O shoes. I need to get some shoes because my squat's not good. You know what I mean? You're doing all these things instead of squatting. Just fucking squat.
Yeah.
Like, stop doing yoga. Like, I don't know. Like, people get
Right. Like I want to do something that's
sidetracked.
not the thing
Right.
to get
Yeah,
better
yeah,
at the thing.
exactly.
But it's
Like,
don't
that's-
stop the thing. The thing is the most
It's
important
like,
thing.
I'm gonna start CrossFit, but I'm not strong enough yet. I can't start it yet.
Yeah,
I'm not good
yeah.
enough for CrossFit yet. I'm like, what do you mean?
Oh.
Like, what do you mean? You know what I mean? It's like do the thing that you're trying to get better at. Don't do 100 different things. It's like, oh, it's my hamstrings are the problem. I need to stretch my hamstrings more to get lower in squat. No, you don't. You just need to squat more. Like, if you want to get better at skipping, you don't need to then practice like different jump drills. Like, you just need to skip. You just need to get the rope in your hand and skip more.
Like number one, yes.
Yeah,
you need to
that is-
skip.
that's
but,
the-
but I think you, as long as you're squatting and doing the thing, as long as you're skipping and doing practicing, and as long as you're squatting, it's like doing a hamstring stretch can only also assist as well. And doing extra skipping drills can also only assist. But like, yes, you need to be eating the meat potatoes. Like, and
Yeah, but would it be better if they just spent all the time doing the thing that they were meant to be getting better at instead of doing 5 other things as well?
Yes, they're both right. Agreed. I'm just thinking, yeah, double unders, freaking double unders, huh?
No, we're done with double unders. Leave them
No,
alone.
I'm thinking, man. I'm thinking. I reckon, yeah, people just avoid them. That's what I think. I think people avoid them. Just
what
do
about
'em.
snatch technique? How do you improve? Like, I feel like to be an RX athlete, you got to be able to do Isabel. You got to be able to do 60 kilo and 42.5 kilo snatches, male and female, and you got to be able to cycle that barbell. So that's not just an element of technique. There's an element of like, you need a base strength level that needs to be
Yeah.
high enough to be able to move that bar. So how would you say, Sam? How do we achieve that? How do we?
I would focus on. I would firstly go, all right, show me what you got, and depending on what I got, that's when we'd sort of that's what we'd work with. But
All right.
maybe give us a more specific
Got
example.
a 30 kilo snatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, woman, 35 years old. She's just entered the masters category.
Does she have a job?
She works at the local cafe. Recently divorced.
How many hours a week? Can she train all day, or she's?
Um,
Because
Is she making sandwiches or is she on the register?
she's doing both. She's high skilled. Like she's adaptable.
all right, she's got let's say full-time job,
Yeah.
trains once a day.
Yeah.
Far
5
out,
days a
man.
week. 5 days a week. 2 rest days because she has good
But the
coaches. And
answer
they
was how to
recommend
get
it.
better at snatches, Sam. You don't need to know their
I
life story.
do, man. It fucking depends. Because if they've only got 1 hour a week to
Background:
train.
she did swimming and gymnastics as a child.
Oh shit.
She has great thoracic mobility, but her hips are a little bit
So
tight.
that was my first question was obviously assess the mobility aspect because
Yeah.
I think that's generally takes the longest or that will stop people. And I think Russ made a really good point. If that's the only weakness she has, like let's just assume she's RX everything else, but she's just got a weak snatch. Jack's lost. Jack's lost it. Oh,
Why
Jack-
look at me like that when you
Bro,
say
I'm
that?
talking, man.
Why look at me? Why are you not looking at anywhere and then look at me dead in
I'm-
the eye when you say she's got a weak
It's
snatch?
hard.
She's got a weak
I gotta
snatch.
look both ways, bro.
Yeah.
So, with how much weight? Got to get 10 more kilos on it.
30 kilos. Yeah, she snatches 30 kilos right now. It's a little bit weak.
Yeah. So what I would do, and she has all the mobility. She's all good. All right. So what I would do is we're currently snatching once a week right now. You would say, Russ? We're snatching once a week. I would probably say weightlifters can snatch up to 3 times a week. That doesn't mean that's what she should be doing. I would up the frequency one more time, and obviously
Twice a week.
So the frequency would then maybe fix a hole in whatever the game what's wrong or limiting her. So it might be the pull, it might be the overhead squat, or it might be who knows. Or we've eliminated mobility. But let's just say so for example, say her overhead like her overhead squat's a little bit weak or could use some work, I'd maybe focus the next snatch day around that. So it might be like snatch plus overhead squat plus snatch or something like that, or snatch overhead squat or drop snatch. Just something to focus on whatever that is, and that's pretty much all she really needs to be doing, I would say, considering she's training every other day.
So what
as
you're
well.
doing here is you're breaking down the snatch because it is quite a complex
Yeah.
movement, and you're analyzing. Okay, she's like where else could you be weak in the snatch? Like I suppose you could be weak in the pull.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You might be weak in your extension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be,
yeah.
and then create a drill or something specific to work on that, and then hopefully it all comes together in the end. That's just assuming
That makes sense.
from what you're saying. Obviously, if they train once or twice a week, then it could be different. You could do it even more times, but yeah.
Because usually there is like a limiting factor in the snatch, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's like someone's pull is just not it, or it's like whenever they catch an overhead squat, it's just like they've got to descend so slow into that squat because they're not comfortable in their overhead squat. So yeah, having a second day that's specific for them is.
Well, snatch is a hard movement because it's like, for starters, it requires you to get into a full overhead squat if you're going to, snatch well. And that's probably a big limiter for a lot of people. But
It's very
also,
demanding.
it's a very technical, it's a skill. It's like you can get, like, snatch is one of those things that you could add 20 kilos to your back squat, but your snatch might not get any better. Whereas your clean and jerk probably will still get stronger. Whereas to get better at snatch, you have to snatch. Like there's no two ways about it. Like,
Especially
you're gonna have to do it.
The more beginner you are at it.
Yeah, and I think that the people that make the mistake with their Olympic lifts of trying to go too heavy too soon. So as a beginner, you probably shouldn't, like, your best learning or the best improvement comes from moving weights like 70 to 80% of your max, because they're light enough that you can still do it really well. And if you're doing it well, you'll get better at it. Whereas people make the thing is like, oh, I've got to try to go heavier. And like, that's generally speaking, when you go heavier on Olympic lifts, they don't look good. The bar speed starts to slow down. So you're not actually training. The purpose of the lift is to build explosive power. And you're just making this into a slow movement. So for most people, they need to break the movement down into, let's say, like Sam was saying, is like do an easier variation of the lifts. You might do snatches from the power position to teach them how to get under the bar fast. You might do overhead squats to get them comfortable in the bottom position. You might do pulls from the floor to get them knowing how to move the bar from the floor to the hip. And like once you do all those things, break the movement down in different parts and actually identify what they suck at. So identify what they suck at. All right, you're missing your extension. You're not extending when you snatch. That's what's killing you. Pulling with your arms, not extending. So then we're going to do a lot of drills from that power position to actually teach them how to extend. Maybe you're just doing power snatches to teach them to get the bar overhead fast. So it's depending on the person, but usually the best thing to do is to do the movement. You can do different variations of the movement, and then it's also make sure it looks good. Because if it doesn't look good with 20 kilos, it ain't going to look good with 30 kilos. And it ain't definitely going to look good with 40 kilos. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, people just need to stop at the point where things start to break down, especially in the Olympic lifts, because it's a skill. It's timing. It's timing that moves the bar overhead. It's not you muscling the weight overhead. You can get away with that for a little while if you're super strong, but that's not going to get you to your best possible lift in the long run.
I think that because we call the like a power snatch and use the term power position, I think that's very confusing.
It can be confusing.
Like I think high, what is it? High hang.
Yeah, but
That's what
high
they call
hang
it.
and low hang, that's also just as confusing.
No,
to
it's
me.
not.
Really, it's the same.
Because I'm like, do a power snatch, and it's like from the power position, and you're like, new person's like, what? I'm like, where it's like, it's like you're not using the same word for two different things.
Well,
you know
we
what I
just
mean?
need to educate
Where
them.
did power snatch come
Like our language, like I'd be happy from right here, this day forward, we just call the power position snatch a high hang snatch. But what do you guys think?
I hate the high hang, man.
Why do you
So,
hate it?
I just like calling it the power position. I
It
always
is.
have.
It's nice because it's like that's where you get the power.
is generated from.
That's
Yeah,
where you
just-
get that
just to
juicy
make it clear-
power.
Just to make it clear, a power Olympic lift, so a power snatch or a power clean is when you receive the bar, not in a full squat. So as long as you catch above parallel in the squat, that's considered a power snatch or a power clean. Yeah. Otherwise,
Not from the power position though.
no, it can be from any position. You can do it from the hang, you do it from the floor, or you can do it from the power.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's 3 positions.
But not exclusively from the power.
No.
Right.
No.
I personally think this is my opinion right now. I think I know what Jack's. I don't care about the name at all. Whatever you want to call the name, high hang power, whatever. I don't think it matters that much. I like high hang position.
Language is important, bro.
Yeah, I think well, whatever. We keep it power. Let's
it to
be
me.
honest. But I think the high hang position, because it's more forward, is better for our peeps. Because I think a lot of people pull shoulders back too early.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So they don't stay over the bar till late. That's why I like high hang position.
Mm.
That's all.
I think the high hang position, the reason why I like the high hang position, if we're going over why we like the position, is most people suck at getting under the bar fast.
Yeah.
So like the people don't know how to drop under quick enough. And if you just snatch or clean from the high hang, you've got no momentum from this position. And really you should have to move almost the same weight that you move for your 1 rep max from the high hang position.
You're thinking of the extension position.
I'm thinking the bar with the bent knee, power position.
Oh, you get a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, but I'm saying that
Bit limited. Yeah.
it's limited, and
No,
I'm
but-
saying that you
Sorry,
probably
physical.
should be able to almost lift. You should be able to lift 95% from that position.
Yeah.
You can do a 95% squat clean from that position. You can do probably 95% snatch from that position. But people can't because they
I
don't
mean,
know how
if
to
you
move
train
under
the
the bar.
potential of it, I couldn't because I couldn't right now.
I reckon I
Building
can.
up to be
I'm
able to do
walking.
that
Yeah.
would be a good thing.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the position specifically because power.
You're talking about a more
Yes.
shoulders over the
Yeah.
covering the bar. Like
Yeah.
I actually wouldn't mind changing our power position to that too because
because yeah, go.
I think it's watching a lot of weightlifters like it's what they do.
That's what they teach at the weightlifting course. Is it's not power position shoulders behind the bar. It's actually shoulders over.
It depends it depends what weightlifting coach you go to, man, because
it
there's
does.
different coaches that train different way. And there's the
And if you were to talk to me,
the Chinese, what is it? The
Nah, that came from CrossFit,
The-
bro. That shoulders.
we could
behind
do
the bar.
both. Like you could do that,
That
too,
didn't
but you
come
could do
from
high
CrossFit,
hang
man.
and then you lean
Yeah.
back, push the hips forward, and then now you're in a power
Well-
position. And like changing between those two positions would be actually really good
most
skill.
of CrossFit's Olympic lifting came from originally Mike Bergner, didn't it? That's why they have the Bergner warm up
Yeah.
in CrossFit.
He is like
and-
Jesus.
and-
for weightlifting
Yeah.
CrossFit.
And he's a weightlifting coach, and there's
Yeah,
plenty
man.
of weightlifting coaches that teach the upright power position.
Yeah.
And it's actually wrong to put your shoulders over the bar because
Yeah. That's just
so it's
that's just old
It's
school.
like
man.
no, it's not old school. It's just that there's 2 different ways to teach something, and it just achieves
But
the
if
same
you
result.
if you never get your shoulders behind the bar, how does the bar pass like in front of your shoulders?
If you
It's-
no.
Like it's impossible. You
Yeah.
need it at some point in lift. You need to get your shoulders behind the bar.
No, what the reason why
It's
I'm
the timing of it though.
yeah the reason why I'm talking about it is so they still reach that position shoulders behind the bar. They just do it later, which allows the bar to not travel forward
Like at mid thigh. Like when
as late as possible. At the high hang position is when they do it.
at the
That's
Right.
when they extend and pull their shoulders behind the bar.
Right. That's when the hip
So
extension
yeah, so they're
happens.
staying shoulders over the bar the whole way, the whole length, and then the last minute's where they go. And they say that the people that pull their shoulders back too early, right? Because you see it, that actually sends the bar forward.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because when you're at the knee, you're already going underneath the bar, right? And then you make your contact. You make your contact from here, and then the bar goes forward.
Mhm.
Right. And to not send the bar forward, you actually keep your shoulders over the bar, and then late is when you extend. But
Okay.
anyways, that's just my weightlifting thought.
Yeah, no, that's
That's
interesting.
my weightlifting thought of the day.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but yeah, I just think like this just stemmed from the language of power snatch and power position. When you're trying to talk to a new person about power snatch and power position, you're
The
like,
Olympic lifts are complicated.
They
It's
are.
they're like, wait, what? Hang, power snatch, squat snatch. It's always what's just a snatch? Like I'm like, well, you squat, you do a squat, but isn't that a squat snatch? No, you don't have to say it. It's like it's invisible.
But I think that's. But I think.
Well, what
I think that's the fun thing about CrossFit, though. There's so much shit to learn. That's
Yeah,
why it's
it
good.
is.
That's why we get
It
people
is.
where.
You know the difference between power position and power snatch. You're in on the club. Welcome to the club.
It's confusing. It's confusing. And Olympic lifts are hard. Don't get me wrong. They're not easy. And especially if you've never done any training for, you're probably going to suck at Olympic lifts. And that's why you're going to suck for a while until you get good at it.
I'm so excited for the lifting cycle, man.
Yeah,
Can't
I'm
wait
pretty
to
pumped.
fast forward, hit some clean snatch pulls, man.
I'm pretty pumped.
Extendo, just yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm gonna open PTs back up during the block.
Yeah,
Run some PTs. See if anyone wants to come PT
it's
and
a weight lift.
do some extra weightlifting work with me after Torium. It's gonna be sick.
Fuck yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait to fast forward this strength block. I mean, the reason why I'm saying that, guys, is I've done a lot of powerlifting, so that's why sometimes powerlifting.
You're weak, man.
Yeah, it's not that I'm weak. It's the opposite. I've done too much powerlifting. I need to do more weightlifting.
No,
Hey, man, your power lifts are going to get your Olympic lifts stronger. What are you talking about?
you can have personal preference, man. You shared your opinion and you didn't turn it off.
Look, don't get me wrong. The Olympic lifts are more fun, but
Yeah.
they're not fun for everyone because, again, a lot of people can't do them well.
I
and so you're not
froth
having a
them.
fun time.
Can I say
froth
one
them.
thing? I think more people find them fun than you think. Because I've had people go, Caroline, for example. She's like, Sam, when are we doing weightlifting again? I'm like, what? She's like, I like snatch and clean and jerk.
Dang,
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
that's
well,
sick.
Not for a little bit. She's like, okay, cool. But I was just shocked with how many people actually like weightlifting. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weightlifting is awesome.
Weightlifting's heaps fun.
Just harder. It's hard on the body. It's harder on the body, I reckon.
Weightlifting?
Yeah,
Ah,
it is. For
I
a lot of people.
think we just have a bad relationship with the broomstick in our gym. That's what I personally think the issue is. I'm doing broomsticks in the warm up, and people are like, "Why are you using a broomstick? Like you're weak." I'm like, "No, I'm not weak. I'm trying to get freaking mobile in my bottom position with a broomstick.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do."
the broomstick is
Yeah,
bad.
I think that's what we need to do a better job on as coaches in the lifting block is not let people move on too fast. No, you're doing the warm up with the broomstick because your max snatch is 20. You're not doing the snatch warm up with 90% of your freaking max.
Mhm.
Imagine you doing the weightlifting warm up with 9% of your max.
A
You
bit
got, you got 100 kilos on the bar doing all this.
Turn
and
the
that's-
side trance on. Let's go. We're warming up.
and that's what people in our class do. Their max snatches are like the barbell and they're doing the warm ups. No.
That's how I learned to snatch.
Yeah, I personally think, and the
I used to
broomstick-
literally just grab the broom and I'd just be like,
bang.
every night I get home from CrossFit and I was doing snatches in the lounge room whilst Dad was watching TV.
Yeah,
And I was just like,
and
bang,
it's good,
bang,
man.
bang, snatch, ad break, snatch, 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 ad break, snatch.
Dude, we're gonna clip this right now at the start of the weightlifting block, and this is gonna tell everyone we're all using broomsticks for 2 weeks.
If you do,
If you make me use a broomstick for 2 weeks without touching a bar,
No, in the warm
oh,
up.
in the warm,
Yeah.
yeah, that's okay.
like the amount of broomstick snatches you've done directly correlates to like kilos on your bar in the snatch. I
But
reckon.
also, if you warm up with a broomstick, you then still do need to do the warm up with the bar because if
Yeah.
I do the warm up
Yeah.
with the broomstick, I still don't
hold
feel
on,
ready.
You've missed it, man. Then we've got a 10-kilo bar.
Ooh.
There's things to do.
And then I'll get the 10 kilos.
Yeah.
and then
the 15.
20, and then
Because that's
and
the
then
same
15.
percentages as Jack, right? Jack using barbell to 10, like it's the same.
yeah.
For someone going broomstick to 10 kilo, we get to 6
Hey,
kilos.
I got Seb to start doing the 30 kilo snatch warm up. That was one Sammy used to get me to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, because remember we would jump like 40, 60,
Oh,
70,
I'm
80.
for the 30-kilo snatch warm.
But we just started snatching like 30 kilos when we were teaching Ben Harpenny how to snatch when he came and did CrossFit for a season and came and bloody dominated it.
Yeah. And he told me, man, 30 kilos. No one's too good for the 30-kilo jump. 4 p.m. class. I look around.
Yeah.
I'm like, boys, 30.
Yeah. No, people like to staunch it, but no,
Oh,
you,
I always do 30.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's good.
I don't anymore.
No, yeah, but you've earned it. It's different.
Yeah.
If you don't snatch above 110, you're doing 30. Oh, maybe 100.
Remember Luke Davey? Luke Davey, like it was
Straight to 60.
Yeah.
Straight to the blue.
flex. Yeah, straight flex. He'd just walk in. We'd be hitting 30-kilo snatches, and he'd just be like, "Boys, what the fuck?" And he's like,
That's
"He's
a
like,
mental
I'm
state,
doing,
though, man.
I'm doing 60." He's like, "I'm doing 60 kilos. Let's go. Get on my bar."
No one has that, man. I don't have that.
Yeah.
The
Only at
intensity.
Bush.
He's just he's constantly warmed up from his intensity, I reckon.
Yeah, just constantly, just like 10 coffees deep. Just constantly heart rate
Switching,
above
man.
the zone 2 pace. He's in zone 3 always.
Oh my god.
That's Luke Davey does own the best clean and jerk that's ever happened in this gym though.
Not weight, you mean like
The best lift.
yeah.
The best clean and jerk. that's
Jesse's
happened.
Jesse
second.
Dodgson, he
Second.
snatched.
That's
No,
the
that was
best snatch. Yeah.
That was best snatch, man.
That was fucking good.
I can
Jesus.
replay that moment in my head, man.
Yeah. Oh, because we watched it so many times on replay.
I watched it IRL, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Wait, I think-
IRL and on replay. Like
What are you talking about? Are you talking about Jesse or are
Yeah,
you
I'm
talking
Jesse
talking about
Thorgo.
Jesse.
Oh,
Yeah, but I'm talking about Luke Davies' clean and
Oh,
jerk.
Unbelievable.
Oh, he rallied the boys in a way where they just suddenly appeared out of the pack like it was like the Pussycat Dolls, the masculine clean and jerk boys version, who just appeared and it was like everyone was just like watching him and then he was going for this PB clean and jerk and he was screaming. Grabbed that bar, he cleaned it, jerked it, and he like just slammed that bar and fucking roared. And everyone was just, oh, I've got the
And
photo.
he
He's just like,
nailed- he
he ripped
absolutely-
his shirt
yeah.
afterwards. He just tore his shirt in half. I'm pretty sure.
I think the song play added a lot to that as well.
What was the song?
It was X. It was XXX.
Temptation.
Yeah, it was the one with the just F words. in it.
Is
Yeah,
it, Is that one?
Yeah, the juice. Oh, I can't remember. I actually can't remember. Maybe we'll play it. I actually can't play it tonight.
Yeah, maximal F words.
Yeah, it had a lot of F words in it.
Yeah.
All right, I feel like we've talked for a lot of
We
time.
have. No, we have. Yeah. I'm
And,
happy. I'm happy
We
with
didn't
that.
even talk about our topic though, but I
But-
liked this episode.
Yeah.
But
I do like it.
do you have any
It's fine.
closing remarks? Do we have any closing remarks? Jack, come on. What do you got to say?
What was the topic again? Yeah, look, if you want to be an RX athlete, you just got to just hone in on your weaknesses. Really, like think about what you're weak at in the gym and become used to coming in and working on those things. Don't get all emotional. Leave your emotions behind. Leave your ego at the door, and just come in and work on the things that you need to get better at. And I promise you, over time, you'll be happier because all of a sudden you don't have these holes in your game. So that's all I'd say.
Sammy?
Jack summed it up, but can we do a Q&A next week? I'm putting it out in the atmosphere.
Yes, Q&A next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do
So
it.
we'll post on one of the days. I don't know. We'll pick a day. We'll post and then ask us questions. We'll answer them live. So
Sounds good?
no sus questions.
guys,
They might get skipped.
If you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know what you should work on, ask. That's the other thing. Is just ask somebody. Ask for some help. Say, I'm no good at this. I still no good at this.
Ask anybody.
What do I need to do?
Or ask a coach.
Ask one of the coaches
Hey.
and for some advice on what I need to do to get better at that thing.
It might look like this.
That's
Like
been
this is
eluding
a
you for
scenario.
a while.
Hey Russ. So yeah,
Hey, Jack, what's up, man?
I'm really shit at snatches. Can you help me?
Yeah, man.
Boom.
Boom.
Be better in 2 weeks.
All right, thanks for
That was
listening,
very-
guys.
Yeah. Okay.
What is it?
No.
No, end it.
No. Come on.
No, that's it.
Thanks, guys.
So
Thanks for
that's it, yeah.
listening. See you next week.
Oh.